Good morning. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. We are live, baby, and we are ready to rock. Bar 15 just closed on up. So we are looking ahead to 16, shrinking bull body out of 15 with a wick. If you're taking that, man, you're not trading RAM. You might be trading something else. But we got to wait for 16. Watch the test of the 20 EMA. We have not seen that test since bar 2, where it plowed right through. And we're 4.5 minutes out. If you're new here, this is a December NQ futures chart, a 5-minute chart. So we're trading NASDAQ futures right now. Of course, we're open to switching to ES, gold if necessary, but NQ is the bread and butter if it's working with us. All right, ATR 35. Let's get to work, baby. Good morning, guys. Outlaw, how we doing? John, good to see ya. Roy, Levi, Lurt, Giovanni Joe, good morning, guys. Hey, Christian, how we doing? Cheryl, good to see ya. All right, let's get into it. Now, a lot of times, what we see happen, by the way, is when we see this little attempt at a reversal, right, coming into a 20 EMA, this happens like at least once a day. You get a push, an attempt at a reversal coming in for the first test of the 20. It usually happens in the first like 90 minutes or so of the day. A lot of times when you get a shrinking bull body, this will start to happen. Okay, which is why when I see this coming into a 20 after we haven't really tested it all day, I wait for the third bar. I do not take the second shrinking bull body or bear body if it's the other way. Okay, so we wait for bar 16, we see what it brings, and we take the first setup that we can, man. Let's get to work. Derek, good morning. Javaz, how we doing? All right. Now, 2.5 minutes out here, about halfway through bar 16, this 5-minute bar. Now, there's a few thoughts here on bar 16, at least under the RAM framework, right? If it closes clean below the wick low of 15, which the wick is now well beneath there, so to get a clean close, you would, by default, have to close well beneath the wick low of 15, right? If I were looking for any reason to get short, which I do in a bear trend, I'll take 16. But you gotta think, if this ends up looking like a channel from bar 12 forward, does that still make logical sense? For me, the answer is yes, assuming bar 16 doesn't grow and close at like 26.30. There's still room. You risk the signal body, maybe the wick high of 15, assuming 16 stays reasonable. And that right there is an any reason to get short mentality, kind of a failed bounce 16 into 15, shrinking bull body, wicky bull body, and then 16 clean close if we get it, which we will find out here in a minute 15. I can make sense of that, so let's see what we get. And then your question might be, hey, is that a stop hunt of the wick low of 14? No, not really. That, you know, it's only been there for 10, 15 minutes. But it doesn't hurt to have that there. Just understand that, is it like a super aggressive stop hunt? Which I know a lot of you guys are already looking at. Nope, we went over this in the tomb, baby. You got to give stop hunts time to actually accumulate stops. Otherwise, there's nothing to hunt. Big dog. It's got to be there for at least like 25, 30 minutes. In a high volatility environment, let a lot of orders accumulate down there. So, let's see what we get. 25 seconds out. What we need here again is a nice low close out of 16. Strong bear push. Shrinking bull bodies, 14 into 15. Nice clean close out of 16. That would be any reason to get short mentality. And let's see We have got copy trader ready to rock. Stop limit sell is out, and we'll place that guy. We'll give that guy about 20, 25 seconds, see if we can get a fill. And if we can, beautiful. Quick resolution. Got to get a reasonably fast fill here, otherwise I do not want to be involved. So give that, 25 seconds here from the open of bar 17. And if we don't get a fill, then it's no fill, no trade. We'll move on. That's just fine. No fill, no trade, man. Moving on. Don't spam the chat, you weirdo. This is NASDAQ futures. It's on the screen, big dog! You got eyes? All right. What you got, 17? How are we doing so far today, by the way? Green? Red? Eric, good work, brother. 7R, baby. It's a big day. Levi, good work. Ram's been a game changer, up 500 today. Very good work. You can take and make it your own, but honestly, guys, this didn't happen by accident. The thing about Ram and the way that I wanted to kind of develop the framework for myself, this was all just built for me, right? Was to be simple. So there's little nuances that you can make your own, but in all reality, there's not really a lot you need to even change because there's not that much going on. It's really not that complicated. But again, little nuance like, do you take a C+ setup in a funded account? That's up to you. I prefer to take B- and higher in a funded. In an eval, man, I'll take C- and higher. But again, I'm pretty strict with my grading scale, so. Make it your own, but there's not that much to tweak, really. It's pretty basic price action stuff. Rexer. I tried RAM on a 30-second chart with appropriate sizing. Crazy. Any time frame as well. You can hit it on any time frame. You take the price and the time away from any liquid chart, you can't tell the difference. You don't know if it's a you know, a 3-minute chart, a 15-minute chart. If there's enough liquidity in the market, it's impossible to tell. Which, what does that tell you? You can trade a price action strategy on any time frame that has enough liquidity inside of each bar. What's a good ATR for RAM on the 5-minute chart? I like anything above 20. Above 30 is better. So 36 here is tremendous. But once you have the ATR kind of checked, and by the way, that doesn't mean if ATR is 16 that I just always walk away. I'll still trade. Once it starts getting below 10 during the New York session, it's probably, for me, it's kind of time to walk away. I get a better life ROI going and doing something else when the ATR is below 10. Doesn't mean you can't trade. I just think that, you know, at some point you got to have balance. So below 10, the ATR is like this. This just is going to frustrate me more than anything. This sucks. This is boring. I'm not having fun anymore. So I'll walk away and leave. But that usually doesn't happen on the 5-minute chart during the New York session. Now, if you're going to trade Asia, this is one of those nuance things. With an ATR of 9 during Asia, that's okay, because the average volatility is going to be less than during the New York session. So you can't use the same cutoff on ATR from New York to Asia. But let's talk, purely the New York session right now. ATR gets below 10. It's tough to justify. 4th of July stream, ATR was like 4 or some crazy thing. We had a lot of fun trading. Doesn't mean you can't trade in low ATR environments. It's just on a regular basis, not like a special occurrence. Below 10 makes your life kind of frustrating. Trading in general, but trading price action. But above 30 is best. It starts going above like 70, things start getting a little weird. So right now, this might change in the future, but right now I'd say on NQ, when ATR is between like 25 and 70, best case scenario. All right, so here we are testing that 20 EMA for the first time in a minute. Basically since bar 2. So this bar will close up in 55 seconds. Let's see what it brings. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, I'm not going to be the guy who sits here and claims that I invented some new way to trade. That's fucking stupid. That's so stupid. And I think people that act that way think their audience is really fucking dumb. And I don't. I think you guys are too smart for that. So why would I even want to do that? If it doesn't work for me, rather than sitting here streaming, I'd be sitting here banging my head against the wall trying to figure out what to do that would work. The beauty of RAM is not that my point is the beauty of RAM is not that it's some new thing. It's price action concepts that I took and wrapped up into my own thing. I took like pieces from over here and I put it all together and I said, holy shit, this works for me. This actually has gotten me results. After all that work, this works. No shit, because I'm doing logical things. Okay, now let me kind of create rules for myself that make the decision making as easy as humanly possible, so I'm confused as little as possible. Those rules are things like determining the context of the market. Is it under the trend umbrella or are we under the range umbrella? Right? And then little things with ATR. When do I take profit? How do I risk? How do I size? That's the beauty of RAM. It's not that it's some magical new thing. It's price action trading, right? Made to be as least confusing as possible. Because I don't like being confused. So I was like, let me just make this so I always know what to do on every bar. Right now, it requires some discretion, right? You have to have some experience at the charts, but you pick it up in not very long. Once you understand kind of the rules as I made them for me, you can decide if that's how you want to use it, make little changes here and there, though I don't think you necessarily need to, and then use your discretion on grading your setups. And you'll get better over time. So the quote unquote ROI, right, you get from trading this just gets better as your discretion gets better. And then you look at every single bar on the chart. Like guys, I look at every single bar on the chart, I know what to do. Trading RAM. Which, what else can you ask for? I put the setups on, I accept the outcome, and I move out my life. I'm not confused, I'm not stressed out, and you're making money. Isn't that kind of the whole point? So, I mean, that's, again, it's not some magical thing. It's just a really good way to package this that keeps us happy and making money. That's kind of the whole fucking idea here. You didn't get into trading to be a stressed out mess who's going broke. You got into trading to be a calm, happy individual who's getting rich. But it always, I mean, it slowly goes toward that other side. You're like, this isn't why I wanted to do this, dude. This sucks. Minute 45 out. Yeah, Pat, up until bar like 14, 15, well, really up until bar like 16, because we didn't know what was going to happen on 16, the context here fell under bear trend umbrella. Okay, but now looking back in hindsight, we can go, okay, 16, 15, 14, and 13, but really more like 15 onward. Yes, I would say this is attempting to enter a range. So we're right now in that little gray area where we let a few bars close up, kind of determine what's going on here before we trade, before we take a trade or take another trade or whatever the case might be that day. But yeah, right now I'd say, okay, from 15 onward, this is a range, but it's not a developed range enough to start hitting the range. So we have to let 19 close, let 20 close, and see if it enters back into the bear trend umbrella, or maybe a soft bear channel umbrella, which still falls under the bear trend umbrella, which I would prefer. But if it does start ranging, again, we'll hit the range, 100%. All right, ATR here, 38. Let's see what this brings. All right, 20. Preferably, you guys know at this point, I don't care what the market does, we just take it as it comes. But our quickest way to a setup right now is for 20 and 21 to close as moderately strong bear bodies and kind of re-enter that bear push territory. And then we can just look to, as, you know, the wick low of 13 and 14 sit there longer and longer. Guess who's putting more and more stops there? The bulls. So we can see if we can hunt that. Nah, awesome. That's not really right. You're missing a lot of nuance here. Listen, I'm not going to get into it here. It's just going to put everyone to bed. A lot of you guys are missing a lot of nuance in RAM, dude. A lot. Pay close attention here on the stream. Or, I don't know, we go into it in the tomb. That's where the boring real stuff, you know, is going to go down. But 5, there's a huge wick. Huge wick. You know, 12 is more reasonable, but it has its own things that you should consider before taking that. All right, 315 out on 21. Okay, so 21 here. Let's see if we can get a nice reasonable bear body close. Minute 43 out. And then if 22 is clean, that's big for me on the table. The market is trying to put in a range here between kind of the wick high of 15 and 18 and the wick lows of 16, 17, 19. By the way, guys, they announced it yesterday. Apex is running a very short deal. 70% off. Listen to this. 70% off. The lifetime activation fees are $40 until midnight Wednesday night, Eastern time. Okay, so a couple days. They're going to run it for just a few days. But guys, the activation, that's less than half what the discounted activation fees normally are when they're on sale. This is the cheapest lifetime activation fees I've seen at Apex in a very long time. They're usually like $140 lifetime. When they go on sale, they're $85 lifetime. So go hit it, dude. Especially if you pass accounts at a half reasonable rate. It's time because the lifetime fee is cheap as hell. I wish I could hit it, but I have 20 already. See, speaking of that, Apex keeps teasing us with straight to funded accounts. My big question for Apex is, are we ever going to be able to have like 40 fundeds? Right now the limit is 20. If we could bump that to like 30, 40, 50, 100, that would be kind of nuts. I don't know, man. I have a feeling that they're going to bump that someday. And if they do, dude, it's off to the races. The copy traders are getting better. I don't think there's really too much of a copy trader issue. They're getting better. You guys imagine if we could have 100 Apex fundeds? Oh, man. Oh, man, it'd be Payout City every single day. All right, ATR still 34. Market just trying to put in a little sideways trading range. These kind of things don't last. They don't last. So we're on bar 22, halfway through here. All right, 22, come on now. 40 seconds out till the close. Raptor! Use the stop hunting method past 2 evals in the last 2 trading days. Yes, sir. Very good work. All right, bar 23. This is a trading range, but this is kind of a single bar trading range. Now, what is a single bar trading range, right? It's a trading range that is commonly seeing a single bar filling the entire trading range. So basically the width of the trading range is kind of like a single ATR approximately, which ATR right now is like 35-ish, 34. Which these single bar trading ranges, very little edge in here, if any, for pretty much anybody except algorithms. The degenerates will try to hit it, man, but it's not so easy. Trading ranges can definitely be traded, but ideally they're not single bar trading ranges, right? They're more like multi-bar moves to the top, multi-bar back to the lower third, back and forth kind of deal. That actually gives you price action setups within reason and a way to easily manage risk. This kind of thing is tough. So you gotta let it break, which it always does. Hey Cheryl, just get the get the Discord app on your phone, and you can access everything right through there. No big deal. You got to get that PC fixed. All right, 23 giving us hope here. 90 seconds. Just secured my first payout with Top Step. Let's go. Now, when that hits the bank, you know, I say this a lot, but this is the reality, guys. When that first payout or personal account withdrawal, whatever it is, when the first money from trading hits your bank, it's a different feeling, man. It changes things. I remember it's a crazy thing. You're like, no shit, I can go pay a bill with this. Before that happens, this all feels a little bit like hand wavy. I mean, you know it's real, like, you know, it's not like you have no idea, but you haven't touched it yet. You haven't felt it. When that first money hits the bank and you can go to an ATM and pull out cash and look at it, it's kind of a weird thing because you're like, okay, I participated on the greatest playing field on the planet. And, you know, in a way, this money belonged to Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, you know, not literally, but figuratively, right? And now it's in my hands. Like, it's kind of it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. And it changes the way you look at this. I think you start taking it more seriously and you start thinking, okay, all right, we're just getting started. Let's take this thing further. All right, 24, what you got? Drac, what's up, brother? How we doing? All right. Gotta be careful. Don't get fooled too early. Don't get fooled too early. This thing's trying to put in a trading range. You know the bulls are probably going to try to step in. Now, can they is the question. So 3 minutes out here from the close of 24. Let's see what the close of 24 brings us. See if those bears can get nice and cocky. More water. You know, a really good way to make sure your life sucks all the time is to be constantly dehydrated. All right, 24. Well, you know what, media? I'm not going to encourage that behavior, but you're an adult. So I'll say this. Screenshots on X or it didn't happen. All right, 24. Nice, good close out of 24, though. Let's see what we get out of 25. Before 25 is a nice, clean, bare body. I'm still thinking trading range, trading range, trading range. So come on, 25. Let's prove yourself to us. Yeah, you know, I mean, look, do what you want. I personally, I don't go max size on evals, but if you want to go max size on evals, who am I to say don't do it? Do whatever you want. You're an intelligent human being, right? But I start with like maybe 3 minis on a 50k eval, take a couple of trades, size down into the finish line, get it past as soon as possible, as quickly as humanly possible. I do not like to spend, if I can help it, I'm not spending like days and days and days in an eval. Usually I'm trying to get them past in one afternoon. However many I'm trading, 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys, again, know how I like to do things. I like to have different start times on my fundeds. So I don't like to just, you know, start with 0 and then trade 20 evals, get them all passed. If I have room, which I'm maxed right now, but if you have room, I think you should, you know, trade 1 or 2 or 3 a day in the afternoon, get them passed, or get as many as you can passed, and then go to the next day. Start them up, and then go to the next day, do it again. That way, you know, you'll have different payout schedules for each set of accounts. You're taking money more consistently, which I think is good for your psychology. Also, you know, if you are trying to bootstrap going full time, I think it's important to have smaller chunks of money coming in more frequently rather than hopefully a big chunk like once every 2 months, right? Or once a month or whatever, once every 2 weeks. All right, halfway through bar 25, you can see your bull's taking it right back up into the trend range. That was the concern on bar 24, which is why we don't take 24, which is why I wait for 25 to see if he can put in a nice bare body, which of course it is not. So 220 out, let's see what it brings here. But all that to say, with evals at like Apex, for example, you know, look, what's your goal here? Right? If your goal is to, as cheap as possible, keep your expenses as low as humanly possible, if your goal is to make $1,000 a month, then yeah, you know, buy an eval, take your time. But, I mean, come on now, you know? What are you doing? I don't know. The way I look at it is, you know, you can go to 0 infinite times. You only really need to get rich once, maybe twice. If you're a real idiot, maybe 3 times. Right? But like, I don't know, man. Just play it. Play it big. Do it big. Why go small? You play really scared. If you really protect that $30 eval, I don't know. I think you're gonna be fucking pissed when you're like 85. You're gonna say, why was I such a pussy? I was good. Why did I not just go? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's the way I look at it, I guess. 50 seconds out here from close of 25. What's up, Rain? Good to see ya. Doing well. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Good to see you, brother. With the Apex sale, if you pass, how much is the activation? It's $40 lifetime activation fees across the board. If you do have to reset, it's $70. So whether you cancel and buy a new one or reset is dependent on the size of the account. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the listen, I know you're like, yeah, but they run 90% sometimes. Yeah, but when they run 90%, when you pass, the activation fee is more expensive. So for some of the accounts, I'd have to run the numbers. I don't know exactly which ones, but for some of the accounts, the all-in funded cost, listen to this, the all-in funded cost is the cheapest it's ever been on some of the accounts at Apex. I think the 50s, the 150s are great. The 300s are cool. I have a couple 300s right now, but I don't know. I mean, the 50s I think are better. Not better, but you know what I mean? Like, as far as I think what makes sense to run as the majority of your 20, I think the 50s are the 150s. The 50s are, if you do blow them, they're easy to get back. It's not stressful, keeps your life simple. But I feel like people are overlooking this deal because it's 70%. Don't look at the 70%, dude. Look at the $40 lifetime activation. You have to assume you're gonna pass, right? If you're looking at an expensive lifetime activation and 90% off, you're assuming you're gonna blow them all, right? This one is the one that you want. This is a crazy deal. All right, 250 out here from the close of 26. Come on, baby, do something for us. What's up, Glider? Rico! What's up, brother? In your RAM strategy, does VWAP and key support and resistance levels included in your decision making? Key support and resistance only if they're relevant in stop hunting. Volume weighted average price, not really. I mean, you could swap it out for the 20 EMA. I just have a 20 EMA up, and the only way the 20 EMA comes into my decision making is like on bar 15. It makes me hesitate. Not that 15 would be a good setup otherwise, but if bar 15 was a good bar, it would make me hesitate because it was the first test we'd really seen basically all day since bar 2. So there you go. There's your answer. Very, very basic. It's not complicated. It's very easy to understand. I do not like being confused. So I went very much so out of my way to make RAM simple for me to know exactly what to do on every single bar. All right, 26. Still holding on to this little trading range. Remember what we talked about in the close of 24? I said, don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. 25 has to be a clean bare body for me to be interested. Otherwise, this is going to stay a trading range. And now here we go. Stay in a trading range. A lot of you guys get fooled on that. That's why you're getting killed. Got to remember, trading range, trading range, trading range. 80% of tests are going to fail. Breakout tests, right, are going to fail, or attempts, I should say. All right, 4 minutes out here. 27 is trying to do something. Let's see if we can get anywhere. Well, ATR is holding up. We're holding 34. 35 on the ATR. It has not dipped inside of this trading range, which is really, really interesting. It's just the price action is just brutal range. Now it's trying to become less of a single bar trading range, but it still is, I mean, in all reality, so. Hey, Pete. Yeah, listen, brother, you got it. You can't. Careful, careful, careful. You start betting on breakouts in a range. 15 trades later with a win rate of, you know, maybe 20%, you're gonna be getting killed. Gotta be careful. One of the top rules within RAM. If you're gonna bet on the breakout, let that thing break out. And then take continuation. You don't gotta be early, you just gotta be right. More often than not. Which does not mean 98%, like a lot of beginner traders like to think. They like to think they just show up, print money every day. Oh, it's beautiful. Casinos print money, would you agree? Guess what a casino's win rate is? Like 52%. You know, at a lot of the table games. So chill out. You just need a little bit of edge. You don't need to win every fucking trade. Calm down. 60 seconds! All right, I'm going to pull it out of the back pocket. Back in 2 minutes. Watch this thing move. All right, we're back. Well, I couldn't get a hold of anybody, so we're stuck in this range. Halfway through bar 29, 2.5 minutes out. I used to. I played a lot when I was between the ages of, oh God, what? 13 and like 16. I logged a whole lot of days played on MW2. But today, trading in real life is like a video game. It's better than anyone you've ever played. So, you know the way that I think about it now is, this is something my dad actually used to say a lot, or still does say a lot. If I'm gonna think this hard, I want to get paid. Right? So with video games, that's kind of how I started to feel. Even in my late teens, it's like, if I'm going to work this hard at something, I'd rather, build a business or do something. And then I came across trading and I was like, this is the thing. Yep. I mean, listen, if it helps you relax or whatever, fine. But if you're an adult dude and you're spending hours and hours a day locked away from your wife and kids playing video games, I think the least you could do is swap that out for something that kind of feels like a video game, like trading or building a business or being an entrepreneur or something. It's the same feeling, dude. But it benefits you greatly. Video games aren't really doing a whole lot for you, especially if it's taking time away from your family. I like gold a lot, yeah. I really like trading gold. NQ is the bread and butter. It's a good point, actually. That's a very good point. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I can... I didn't set it up. I can't change the symbol on screen, but you're gonna have to deal with that. Let's see if gold is doing anything interesting. It's definitely more interesting than NQ right now, isn't it? Son of a bitch, I should have set this up so I could change the symbol on screen. That's okay. Yeah, Eric, I agree with you. I agree with you. I always needed something more than the game itself, you know? You know, whether it's like trying to make videos of the game or something when I was like 14, you know what I mean? But now, granted, like, you know, playing like a silly, lighthearted game, you know, like, I don't know, like Mario Kart or like Nintendo Switch Sports. Like, that's cool. Like, that's fun. Like, that's something you can do with other people. Your family, your wife, whatever. But I assume what you mean is sitting at, you know, your battle station, like, with a fucking headset on, like, gaming for 6 hours a night. To me, that's more depressing than it is fun, because while I'm sitting there, I'm like, am I having some fun? Yes. But I'm taking time away from my wife, from my family, and I'm not benefiting them. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, so it's more depressing to me than it is entertaining, so I don't enjoy it. Okay, NQ is breaking out, so let's go back there. All right. I'm still watching the wick high of 18, but we might have something here. Got to be careful. Got to be careful, of course. There still is very much so a risk of this, but there's always a counterparty risk. Or not really a counterparty risk, but you could call, you know, the bears the counterparty risk. Them having confidence from that range. But, you know, at some point, we got to put the trade on when it makes sense to do so. So bar 30 here might be our ticket. Let's see if we get it. Oh, yeah. You know, like playing Switch with the family. I honestly, guys, I don't even think of that as video games. Like, we'll toss it on for a half hour, couple hours tops on like a weekend. And then, you know, it's like, let's go do something else. To me, that's not video games. To me, that's just spending time together. "45 seconds. But I will say, you know, I made a video like 3 years ago that I think a lot of people resonated with. It was like a short form video. Hold up. Ready? 17 seconds out. Copy trader. Engaged. Let's see if we can get a nice clean close here on a bar 30, attempting to break out of this range. I want it clean. That right there is not tremendously clean. but that is an outside close. So if we can get a fill in 15 seconds, I'll take that fill. If we do not get a fill in the first 15 seconds of bar 31 here, then that is slow resolution, if any at all, and I do not want to participate because that range is too much of a risk at that point, and we will not get a fill, so it's no fill, no trade. Moving on. Bar 31 here. Let's see what it brings. Anyway, so I made a video a few years ago. I was talking about video games transitioning into trading, and I very much believe that. Because I logged a lot of days played. I was a trick shotter back in the day, if any of you guys know what that is. When I was like an early teenager. That was like, I was all in. And I think it translates. You know, but at some point you got to move on to something that benefits you and you and yours. Trading is similar. Entrepreneurship is similar. It's a similar feeling. Just swap it out. I mean, in a lot of ways, it really is that simple. I think you get everything you get from video games, from being an entrepreneur, from trading at a higher level, which I think is maybe an uncomfortable feeling at first, but after a year or two in, you're like, I would never go back. Just make the switch. I think it's worth it, obviously. Heading right back into the range, man. Oh, you bears. Let us have some fun, man. Come on. Put me in the game. I want to participate here today. Okay, I want to run a poll. I ran this same poll on the channel a few days ago. And while we wait for this market to give us something we can work with, man, which, you know, it's coming. It just hasn't come yet. Big old trading range. I want to know what you guys have to say. I assume there's a lot of overlap with who's voting, but let's do it here in the chat as well. Because I want to know, or I think if you care to share. I want to know where you guys sit. Now, this is your long-term trading goal, income-wise. Well, let's say like mid to long term, because you know the stuff you'll see. Hang on. All right, vote in that poll. I want to know where you guys sit as far as goal from trading, because I think I have a pretty good idea. You guys being here, but you know we're also kind of all over the board. So I want to know, like, is your goal just to kind of replace things and go on with your life, or is your goal to take this thing to the fucking end of the earth? Pretty mixed bag, honestly. Yeah, you know, honestly, John, I think you are, dude. I really don't want that to come off whatever kind of way, but at some point it's like, I don't care because I'm right. I'm right. Your day trading is not going to look much different whether you're making $10,000 a month or $1 million a month. You just scale with bigger size. Okay, now eventually, if the market you're trading isn't deep enough, maybe you'll have to leg into trades and leg out. But with futures, dude, I mean, the market's so deep, that's why we're here. So some of you guys are gonna find that offensive. Good. It's for your own good. Because there's zero reason in sitting and saying, okay, my goal is to make $10,000 a month. Dude, the way inflation is going, $10,000 a month, like, for a family? That's damn near paycheck to paycheck, big dog. That's not that good. You know, just shoot bigger. What's the hurt? Who cares? The only thing that gets hurt is your ego. Put it aside. Aim fucking huge. And you don't box yourself in. It's free, and it gives you an edge over everybody else who's scared and has too big of an ego to think that big. You can say, oh, that's fucking corny. Fuck you, leave. Go, get out of here. This isn't for you. Corny? Providing for your family is corny? Get the fuck out of here. This isn't for you. Don't box yourself in. It's stupid. Too many of you voting $10,000 a month, dude. The market is massive. That's what you're worth? Listen, I get it. 10 G's a month, that's a good amount of money. But it's not 30 years from now with a family. I'm telling you, it's not enough. Minute 15 out here. Let's see what we get. Oh, bar 32. Let's see what you bring us here. What's up, Retro? Welcome, big dog. Good to have you. Good to have you. Welcome. Well, I don't know. Maybe Goggins would just run fucking 200 miles and leave me 199 miles in the dust. That dude's a monster. That's just a different mentality, dude. And I fucking love it. 4 minutes out. Yeah, I mean, you know, the uncomfortable truth is the important thing to say, right? And the truth here is, like, when I was a kid, I always thought if I could just make $100,000 a year, dude, oh my God, these people make what? People make $200,000 a year? Holy shit, they can do anything. Like, that was my thought. And I get it, like, inflation has changed things, but it's also a mindset shift. And you realize things exist, you're like, oh my God. I didn't even know places like, you know, take your pick existed. I didn't know you could live a certain kind of life if you wanted to. Or shoot for that even. But the uncomfortable truth is that today, you know, if you don't want to be pinching pennies and you want to, like, kind of do whatever you want, man, $100,000 a year, it's not enough money, dude. Maybe if you're a single dude and you're like, I can live in my bachelor pad or a cabin in the woods, of course I can. That's great, good for you. Like, genuinely, I hope you're really happy. You don't have to be, you know, monetarily rich. It means different things. If you live in a cabin in the woods, you make 10 G's a month, you're balling. But the reality is, to live in normal society and not have to scrimp and save, especially if you've got a wife and kids, dude, or a husband and kids, $100,000 a month ain't getting the job done. You're looking at price tags at the grocery store, not because that's your personality, but because you have to. It's not so easy. It's an uncomfortable thing, but you gotta update that number in your head. It's outdated. Man, 100 grand a year, dare I say, in a lot of markets is fucking broke today. You're broke, and that's okay. That's alright. Just scale. 15 seconds out, let's see what bar 33 here brings us, man. Gotta see a pop. It's small. It's a small bar. All right, 34. Grow. Grow. Do it. What made you get into trading? The lack of a ceiling. You know, in all practicality, there's really no ceiling in trading. Of course, there is. It's market liquidity, but that's kind of irrelevant because, especially in the futures market, by the time you hit that, it's like you can already do whatever you want anyway. The lack of a ceiling, and I wanted to carry it. I wanted to carry everything. Win or lose, I wanted it to be on me. I was never super into team sports. I played a lot of team sports growing up, but I never liked it. I was always way more into the individual stuff. And trading's an individual sport, so to speak. Without a ceiling. Biggest playing field on earth. Just my personality type, I look at this and I'm like, how could you not? Now I get it, not everyone is like you and me. There's a lot of different personality types, but my personality type, it's like, this is the obvious answer. This is it. I want to trade. I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to do anything for anybody else. I'm not interested. The goal is to play the game and get good at the game and never stop getting better at the game. I'm not trying to master, you know, to the actual definition of the word, the game, because you're always going to get better. 34, come on now, halfway through. Oh, 34. Give us a pop, baby. Come on now. 60 seconds out. This is looking better and better and better. You know, on the close of bar 27, it was like, all right, come on now. But things are getting better. You know, what's really interesting is, like, again, this is free to do the following, which is to update your mental inventory on, like, what is kind of a goal mentally. And listen, you don't have to tell anybody this. You keep it to yourself. And at that point, the only reason you wouldn't do this is ego and maybe shame that you shouldn't put on yourself for thinking this way. And what I'm saying is the goal, like for the last 50 years for a lot of people, has been six figures, $100,000 a year. Let's get there. Today, we can argue back and forth, what is it now? Is it $250,000? Is it 300,000? What is it? Well, I don't, the way I look at it is like the math is the math. Whatever, let's just say it's a fucking $1 million a year and get over it. Okay, how can I make that happen? And instantly when I say that, some of you guys are like, whoa, big dog, you can't do that. Why? Why? You know how many people in America make $1 million a year? And are trying to scale it to 10? You know how many people in America make $1 million a month? I think that should be the goal. And why would it not be? Because you're scared? Because your ego says I can't do it and that doesn't feel good? Those are all things that you're in control of. Right? Just say, okay, hey, I'm the little guy. I'm the little fish. Let me just update mentally who I'm chasing. I think it makes the game more fun. You get to play longer. And you don't box yourself in. And then all of a sudden you'll look up, you'll be doing $500,000 a year and you'll be like, oh, fuck. Okay. Okay, had I said it was $250,000, I'd be doing, maybe 180 right now. Instead, I'm doing 500. Now again, for whatever weird reason, that will offend some people. That's your problem. Nothing I just said is bad. Or offensive in any way. In fact, some of you might have just needed to hear someone say it, like I needed to hear someone say it. Minute 50 out. Come on, bar 35. Okay, so this morning we had more or less bear trend, correct? That shifted into a range. We're speaking context now, right? And now this is starting to shift into what you could argue is a soft bull channel. And the longer this goes, more confidence I have that that is the context, which is the whole goal, is to try to determine with a reasonably high level of confidence, hey, what's the context? Which means that 35, if it closed down here, might be reasonable. Instead, it's going to probably close as a doji here, 10 seconds out till the rollover. ATR is still sitting above 30. ATR is 32, which is just fine. It's just the price action right now that's the issue. All right, big old tiny bear body, doji bar. So let's see what 36 brings, man. All right, 320 till the close here at 36. Now I just might be interested in betting on a soft bull channel, but we gotta see how 36 closes. And I gotta figure out if there's a reasonable way to manage a risk on it. Also got to remember we're kind of right in that 50% retracement zone of the day, which is fine because we've already hung out there now. All right, halfway through this bar, 223 out. All right, I want to see 36 close reasonably low. I don't want to see it close beneath the wick low of 31. Okay, that's better. Now I'm looking to bet against the breakdown because a soft bull channel falls under the trend umbrella, but the softer it is, it starts going in the middle between the trend and the range umbrella. And in a trend, I'm looking for any reason to get long, but in a range, I'm looking to bet against the breakout. So those two worlds collide and you end up with a limit order buy on the rollover of 36 if I can make sense of managing risk, which I'd probably do so below the wick of 29 just because I'm sized appropriately to do that. So let's see here. Let's head on over to the execution screen. All right, ready? Oops, hold up. All right, 22 seconds out. Copy trader engaged. Looking for 36 to give us a nice, reasonably low close, but above the wick low of 31. And I would like to bet against the break lower. I like it below 105. Let's see here if we can get a half reasonable close. That's half reasonable. I will get long there. I'll risk the wick low of 29, which I can make sense of just fine, and we'll bring that guy way up and bet against the break lower, betting on the range / very soft bull channel. And see what we can get. ATR 30. All right, bulls. Whole lot of work left to do here. Let's just maintain that little soft bull channel here. And I'm happy. But if the bears take it lower, quickly take out that wick low at 29, just get me out, man. We'll move on. All right, bulls. Keep that baby pushing. See if we can get a full ATR here out of this trade. Come on, bulls. Keep that baby moving. Keep that moving. Getting close here. Not interested in taking it early here. Just want to get my full ATR. See if the bulls can do that for us here. Got to eat up a little past that previous bar's wick high. Limit order out at a full ATR. See if we can get a fill. Pop that thing, bulls. There we go. Out there, 6,500 bucks. Move it on. All right, good little trade. Let's keep going. Alert! Appreciate you, big dog. Media. Better update the trade count, huh? Breaking the ice, about time, huh? Just gotta play the patient game. It pays off. But if there's a whole bunch of trades back to back to back, you gotta hit them too. That's part of discipline, dude. Discipline isn't only not doing anything when you shouldn't be. It's also doing things when you should be, even if you're scared. It's part of it. Yes, Eric, that is right. 100% context there. This is the little nuance that I think gets cleaned up pretty quick once people start diving a little deeper into RAM. You start looking at this, you're like, oh, 3 bare bodies, right? I get short. No, the nuance here is rangy, soft bull channel, right? So what do? We look for a reason to get long, betting against the break, which is a buy on the close of 36 using a limit order. Once you get the context nailed, there's not a lot of confusion to go around. It's pretty simple. That's the benefit here, right? 3 minutes till the close here at 38. Hey, Roland, after 6 months of blowing accounts, I'm finally going to get a payout from Take Profit Trader. Ram is the way. Let's go, baby. It's what it's all about. Now make that 1,000 payouts. Dead serious. Do it to him. Proof of concept after 1, man. Repeat, repeat, repeat. All right, minute 23 out here. Let's see what 38 brings us. Bulls having trouble. Again, that's the context here. Kind of a rangy, really soft bull channel here. Coming out of a trade range. Still new to trading, started in July of this year. Well, welcome, brother. You've got quite the path ahead of you. You don't even know it yet. I love it. How is it trading around through the holidays up until through the new year? Yeah, listen, if it's your first year, listen very carefully. You're going to hear a whole lot about the Santa rally. Oh, baby, the Santa rally. It's going to make us all rich. Yeah, sometimes. It happens sometimes. The market sometimes rallies through Christmas. Just don't think about it. Just look at the fucking market, trade the price action. If it happens to trend to the upside through all of December, just trade the trend. You'll be hitting a lot of stop limit entry continuation price action trades. And you'll look back after a month and a half and say, holy shit, it trended really hard all through December and I made a whole bunch of money. Not because you were thinking Santa rally, baby. What happens if it dumps in December? What, you're just fucked? You just won't trade the bear trend? Just trade the price action. Ignore, I know it's hard because everyone's screaming this and that. Well, I think they're screaming that because they're sitting long and they're hoping everything goes up. Just trade the price action. Don't think about all the stuff. You should understand that, sometimes there is nuance. That, sometimes, the market tends to rally in December sometimes. But not every year. Not every year at all. Just watch price action. Cut out all the middlemen. Cut out all the noise. If you're watching price action and the Santa rally is happening, you're not going to miss it, dude. Because you're going to see it right in front of your face. Just don't get that idea in your head. It's going to mess up your trading big time, I think. Because you'll be hesitant to go short. And then you'll look back in January and say, oh shit. The market was in a bear trend all through December and I refused to get short because I kept thinking Santa rally. I left 30 G's on the table. Great. Just put it out of your head. What's up, Tony? Welcome, big dog. Doing well. All right, guys. Well, hey, it's lunchtime for me, baby. Hey, Take Profit Trader, 40% off, no activation fee, which is crazy, with code BIG, B-I-G. If you're looking to scale, go big right now. Scale out to 20 accounts. Apex is running a very short-lived deal. This ends in 3 days. Well, Wednesday night, so whatever you want to call that. 70% off, but the kicker is $40 lifetime PA fees. Those are normally $140. Right now, they are $40. And you can still pass in 1 day at Apex with code BIG. Go hit that up if it's time for you to scale. All right, guys. Hey, let's see if this enters a bull trend this afternoon. If so, you know I'll be hitting it all afternoon, but let's see what it turns into. Hopefully this thing doesn't range all day, but we caught one really, really nice trade buying the close of 36. So be patient, let it come to you, and it'll pay. It'll pay. You don't need to take 100 trades a day if they're not there, but if they are, can't be afraid to put them on, man. That's part of discipline, doing nothing and then doing a lot, doing whatever the market calls from you, which is the beauty of RAM, that it's all, you know, in my opinion, I look at every single bar, I know exactly what to do. If you want to go down the RAM path, feel free. Happy to have you. If you don't want to, trade whatever makes you money, man. But in RAM, we're not very confused very often, which is my entire point here. All right, guys. See you tomorrow morning. Have a good afternoon.